Thank you very much. I would like to congratulate my fellow inductees on this special night. I would like to thank Athletic Director Dave Langford and Assistant Athletic Director Sean Morrison and the entire selection committee for being thought of in this way. When Dave called me, I thought he was calling me up to tell me that I was getting interviewed for the head baseball position. He said, hell no. He said, no, we got great candidates, don't you worry. But what about the Hall of Fame? After I awoke, I said, where and when? I was very appreciative. I want to wish good luck to Gary Puccio in his first year as head baseball coach coming up. We all know no one gets here by themselves. No one does it alone. There's always been people and factors along the way that have allowed us, all of us, to get here and sit or talk before this microphone. I will take a few minutes and tell you about mine. First and foremost are my parents that are still here, Stan and Maria Dembowski. From a very early age, they instilled in me and my sister the gifts of never quitting, always working hard, and believing in yourself and seeing yourself succeed, seeing it in your mind. They said this about school, and they said this about life as well. I started playing ball at 5 years old, and if you remember taking those team pictures, always on the field, when I was playing it was black and white, I was never the guy standing in the back with the coaches. I was always up front, one knee, same row. Up front, same row, same knee. Never dawned on me that there was big guys all around me until I was looking at the pictures years later. See, but my parents instilled in me not to let anything deter you from your goal. If you play, you always play hard no matter what you do and who you're playing against. It doesn't matter. You play to win and believe in your capabilities. Others will see that and take notice. Give it all. Well, I competed. I stayed true to that word through Little League, junior high school, always a starter, always an all-star, but always that same knee, same row. Started thinking about that. But before I move into my college years, I have my best buddy here, George Rose. We're talking about people along the way. George and I never played football. We didn't play soccer in the fall, but every fall we went down and hit ground balls to each other. He said, Steve, you got to work on going to the left, 100 ground balls. Steve, you got to work on going to your right, another 100 ground balls. That's what I'm talking about. Having people along the way. Thank you, buddy. And he's sitting right at my table over here. Then we went to college. I met one of my first of three coaches. Fall tryouts, Coach John Orsino. We're talking about people along the way. Dembowski on the cut list. You're gone. It didn't register in my mind. I was stunned. It didn't register. How could this happen? Then I remember my parents, never quit, believe in yourself, succeed. At that meeting, when he cut about 7 or 10 players, he thanked us and said, maybe next year. I said, next year, hell. I showed up the next day for practice. Well, everyone went inside and got their nice uniforms, the nice practice jerseys, hats. I arrived with my Rutherford Bulldog sweatpants, a sweatshirt that my father gave to me, and my glove. The stares I got from these players were priceless. I still remember them all. I saw Coach Orsino. I said, I'm not leaving. He said, what? I said, that's right, I'm not leaving. This man was a major leaguer, huge hands, almost like an actor. He let me work out that day, and for the next 4 years, I never came out of the starting lineup for my FDU nights. Never came out of the lineup. Before he left, before he went to pro ball, he sat down on the bench, and before a game at Wagner, he put his arm around my shoulder and he said, just play. You are my second baseman. You are my leadoff man. You are not going anywhere. Look ahead. Do not look behind. You are a player. That's well, how many years ago? 30 now? We're talking about people along the way. One of my other coaches was Harvey Woods, a legend at FDU. He treated us like men. He was a good old Southern man, laid back, soft-spoken. He sat, he watched, he knew what we were capable of doing on the field. He let us go out and play. He didn't get excited much during the game. Sometimes he would pump it up a little bit, but he really got excited when we went out after the game for our meals. And I could say this because I respect the man. When the bartender came over and he said, you want that straight up or on ice, that's when the man got a little excited. Thank you. Clary Anderson, another one of my coaches. He coached and won championships at Montclair State for seemed like 60 years. When Fairleigh Dickinson was, I guess, swiped him away, for lack of a better term, from Montclair State, he came to us. He was about 80 years old, it seemed like. His hair was not gray, it was white. At our first meeting, we all thought, who is this guy? We're looking around. Then he took his jacket off to speak to us. He was ripped. He was ripped. And for people that don't know what that means, this man had muscles on his body everywhere you looked. For his age, it was unbelievable. He talked about desire and that you only have a small window of time to play this game. Mr. Brown said this expertly before. His eyes saw through you. You knew what he was talking about. He said, play hard or I don't want you here. We all knew what we were talking about. He lived that. He would throw batting practice, hit fungos each day, sweat, run around. One story I recall after practice one day, he saw a ball on the other side of the first base line down where we play. He jogged over to the fence, put one hand on the railing, and just hurtled over the fence like a smooth glider. No effort. Picked up the ball, up the tunnel, he went. A couple days later, I'm taking extra BP with a couple of my teammates. I see the same, not the same ball, but the ball in the same area. As if Coach Anderson could do it, I could do it. I go up, gently put one hand on that fence, the other body, my body comes up, I'm impaled on that fence for about 2 minutes until my teammates had to come get me off to avoid further injury. So this man knew what he was talking about. We're talking about people along the way. I want to thank my teammates. I want to thank John Levitt, who is here, who kept me on the field after my hamstrings. But these are the people we're talking about. People along the way. The man that introduced me, Jay Horowitz. We were a match made in heaven. 5'5" ball player who gets hit with the ball all the time. Story after story. TV show after TV show. They would ask Jay before the game, hey, will he get hit? Will he get hit? We got all the cameras set up. We got all the cameras set up. Will he get hit today? Jay would say, he'll get hit. He'll get hit. For a while, I felt like Jay was the Colonel and I was Elvis. Jay would bring me and I would perform. I'm proud that I could help the team in that way. I did not get hit in vain. It never hurt. It was to help the team. But like Jay said, I could hit, I could steal bases, score runs, and get on base. All for my team, and I guess pretty good at it because I'm fortunate enough to be standing here in front of you and with my other fellow inductees. Remember, people along the way. I want to thank my wife, Gina, for all her support, her pep talks and cheers during my career at FDU. But I can't thank her for that. Because when I was playing at FDU, she was 11 years old, living in Paramus, and she wasn't allowed to travel to Teaneck by herself. But I do want to thank her for my 3 beautiful children, Courtney, Amanda, and Jake. And she keeps our home going. I love being her partner. We're partners for life, and she's our strength. Before each game, 2 things I would do all the time. I would put eye black on and say a prayer after infield practice, hoping that we would win and all my teammates would be safe. Then I crossed those white lines, and then I was invincible. But as we know, sooner or later, those white lines get higher, and soon we can't cross them anymore. So I leave it for those who can get over them easily, like my son Jake. I guess Coach Anderson was right when he said, you only have a certain amount of time to play this game. In closing, when I was a young player in Rutherford during Little League, I would sit in my backyard and hold on to a necklace with a medallion on it, and I was lucky enough to have a silver number 4 put on it. I would say, we're going to be there one day, believe it, play hard and work it, we will get there. Well, here we are, buddy. This is our Cooperstown, and I got the necklace in my hand. I appreciate it, and thank you for your time, and I appreciate this great honor. Thank you very much.